Hi everybody and welcome to another After Effects tutorial. My name is Eitan and today I will be doing a special tutorial for Indie Mogul Ween, showing you how to make a moving shadow that moves independently from its owner. So here's a sample video of what we'll be making. You see the shadow and just gets up and walks away. So you can use this same technique to make the shadow do whatever you want. If you want it, the shadow can like strangle its owner, whatever you want. So let's get started, and this can be done inside After Effects. Okay, so here we are with our footage, and here, let me bring this down, quality down. Okay, so here we just have an actor reading a book. So that's our main footage. And then we also have the shadow footage, which I've actually already keyed out, but I'll show you how to do that on this footage, so we're all set. Okay, so we're gonna bring up key light and drag that on there. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is set the screen color around there. And so already we have a pretty good key, so now let's just rotate this around and then we can refine the key a little more. So I added a mask around, just like a garbage mat, around the actor, just so it would get out that top area, because we won't be needing it. So there we go, just mask that out. Now I'm going to hit R and rotate this 90 degrees, and then just sort of move it into place where I think it would be good. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, and now let's just look at our key some more by looking at the status. So we can see that this is not maybe as great of a key as we thought it was. So now we just sort of have to play with the settings a little. So I'm going to go into the screen mat controls, put the softness up to about 1, and then let's see how it looks. Nope, not there yet. There we go. And so now we can really just play around with all of these, bring that up a little bit, and then keep that there, shrink, I'll set this to like -2, there we go, set the softness, actually I'll change the softness to about 2, and it's looking better. There's a little color still on my hair, so I can try just playing with some of this stuff. Also, you can play around with the despill basis, just get some different results with that. It's sort of working a little better around there. Okay, so we have a pretty rough key. You could spend a little more time on this, but from a distance this is going to look okay, and we can scale this down as much as we want to sort of hide the only okay key. Okay, there we go. So I basically did the same thing to my layer where I stood up and walked out. And this was shot on a green screen as well. So now we just have 2 slightly offset layers of the actor, like that. So now go on to the one where the actor walks out. So now you're going to want to add a fill. So just here, let me set it so you can see. Make the fill so that add a black fill to that layer and put on a fast blur. I found 35 worked pretty well for me, and you'll want to play around with the transparency. I set it to 70%, but you can play around with that, see what looks good in your final comp. So now we're going to pre-compose this. Okay. So now this is looking pretty good, so now we can sort of start to add our background. So this I just grabbed randomly online. Don't have the rights to it, but this is a tutorial, it's for educational purposes, so whatever. So I'm going to make that a 3D layer and press W for the rotation tool and just rotate it around a little. V to bring us back to our normal control. Okay, so that's looking alright. And so now we're gonna sort of just add some color correction. So these already mostly match. I'm going to add a curves adjustment to sort of help a little more. So go to my normal footage and just play with that a little bit. There we go. So now they pretty much match. So now we can just add an adjustment layer and sort of add some other color correction on top. So now I'll probably add a little contrast curve, and doing so that really brings out the reds. So we're going to want to bring down the reds a lot. So go down to the bottom, and I think this green effect is kind of a cool effect, and then bring up the reds just a little bit higher up. There we go. I'll move that up a little more just to bring back some of the skin tones. I think that's looking pretty good. I might go back to our footage and just here, delete this, and just sort of play with that a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we really are starting to get a pretty good look of what this is gonna look like. So now we have our shadow, and then it just sort of stands up and walks out. And so you'll want to also be careful when you're masking this I had some trouble masking this out to get it to look good, so just be careful with that. And so now we have to make it, if you want, make it look sort of like maybe it came out of a security camera or the footage wasn't that great. So I'm going to put this on an adjustment layer and look for Venetian blinds. There we go. And just drag that on there. Now set the direction to 90 degrees. And this is meant as a transition. It'll go from that down. But if we say set this at, I think, yeah, 33 is alright. Play with the feather. Then if we keyframe this feather and the transition completion a bit maybe, or we could play with keyframing the width. I think just for now keyframing the feather is probably going to be good. Well, not keyframing, I guess, we'll add an expression. Alt click on this, type in wiggle, and then say 5 times a second, wiggle 10 maybe. We'll see how this looks. We'll make this a little faster. We'll do like 7. Maybe even 15. There we go. And we can also, if you want, add on something like a time code. Drag that on there. Probably underneath. And then just play with this a little. And also just one final, well, 2 things left. Grain. Add grain. Final output. And then just kind of turn this up. So you're getting, it's hard to see at this low resolution, but we're getting some nice grain there. So this is helping it look like it was just some sort of captured footage. So that's pretty good. And you will notice that because this is the transition, that it's basically transparent underneath. So if you were going to add anything else, I would just put a black solid at the bottom. So there we go. That's looking pretty good. And now for our final touch, I'm going to pre-compose all of these. And here we go. We have our pre-comp. So to this, I'm going to use a preset that I downloaded for free from the VFX Pro, Real Camera Shake Pro. and I'll put on probably moderate, then scale this up a fair amount. I'll set this back down to quarter. The grain really renders very slowly. Should just give it a little camera shake. And I'm not sure that I like that time code moving, so I'm probably just gonna Control C, copy that, delete it there. We need an adjustment layer, put it on adjustment layer. There we go, and there we have our final effect. So, thank you for watching this After Effects tutorial. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. I have new videos, new tutorials coming out every Wednesday. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.